Hey, great news. We've been ranked as the number one best podcast by Bad Opinions of Podcasts Monthly. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Whatever with Jason Soto, the comedy podcast that hasn't met its match yet, but it has met its lighter. I am your host, Jason Soto. We are back. I am joined by the awesomely eared Lisa Sally Haynes.
Hello, how are you today?
In second place of awesomely eared is Bear.
Yeah, I'll take it.
You have to go to the YouTube link to see the ears. I have decided to be the odd one out and not have ears. So you can't even see my normal ears because I'm wearing headphones. So I went the other way. I have zero ears.
You're so anti-ear. What's wrong with you?
I am. Ears really hurt my family when I was a kid.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. So I've been anti-ear ever since.
Ear killed your dad?
Yep. Sad day in 1995. The ear uprising killed my family.
Ear uprising.
Thank you all for joining us. If you listened to the last episode, that was our top 10 favorite cover songs. That was a lot of fun to do, you guys. I really enjoyed doing that. That was really cool. Mm-hmm. And it was cool to hear we all had different songs, which I thought was actually great. I actually enjoyed that. All of us had 30 songs together, and it just...
That's how math works.
Yes.
Whoa, he did it. He counted.
Who knew?
And or multiplied.
And or.
But that was a lot of fun. So check that out. And but we are back, and I don't know if anyone noticed, we are now going on a bi-weekly basis on this show. This used to be a weekly show, but I decided just to make things easier, we're gonna go bi-weekly from now on.
Makes things easier on himself.
So let's just
Jason's busy.
I am a busy lad. Speaking of being a busy lad, you figured out that segue. Everything we do here at Rabbit Hole Podcast is sponsored by Audible. You can go to audibletrial.com/rabbitholepods. Try it absolutely free for 30 days. You can download any audiobook, original show, or podcast that you want. When the 30-day trial expires, you just pay $14.99 a month, and you can get more content from Audible. Now, if you decide to cancel anytime, even after the trial, anything that you've downloaded, you get to keep. It is yours for the rest of your goddamn life. So why not give it a shot? audibletrial.com/rabbitholepods. When you use that link, you help us out here at the network. So thanks, guys. We appreciate it so much. And I do have some exciting news regarding to the Patreon. After much encouraging, I have added a $1 tier to the Patreon. So if you've always wanted to support us and you for some reason thought $3 was too much,
it is.
You can go to patreon.com/rabbitholepods and you can back us for one single solitary dollar. Couple of caveats. This is only going to be good until the end of the year. And that is going to be your best way to see the full top 10 best cover songs or favorite cover songs.
Jason hates poor people. Fun fact. Jason doesn't understand the concept
$3 is not
of
a
the
lot
proletariat.
It is every month, though. It builds up, man.
Dude,
there is literally nothing you could buy that's $3. Everything is like $5 and over.
Yeah, and I was eating hot sauce for dinner last year.
So
I had the budget for Patreon, man. If we had a $1 tier.
One, nobody told you to back to Patreon. Two, no one told you to back at the $10 level.
Are you trying to un-Patreon Patreons right now, Jason? You're
no.
telling someone who gives us money to stop giving us money.
The reason I give us money
then don't complain about it. That's my thing. Why do a thing if you're complaining about it?
Dear listeners,
this is like
let me explain
getting people to give you money.
I get paid based on how much Patreon money we make. Me giving $10 means I get $20 back every single month. So what I do is I give 10 so that way I can get back 20. If I lowered how much I give, I would get paid less.
Okay.
Well,
So it was an investment. I just had to plan at the beginning of every month, like, okay, I'm going to lose 10 and then I'm going to have to wait for Jason to send me money.
yes, it is. It is. Yes, I'm gonna trust that all that made sense somehow.
It
Because
does make sense.
I didn't follow it, but I'm not really great at math and budgeting stuff. So
Or time.
regardless,
Or calendars.
That's why we're planning a coup.
regardless, I'm just gonna say irregardless to bother Lisa. Irregardless, heads up,
Lisa's just gonna play The
irregardless is not a
Sims
word.
instead.
Regardless, go to patreon.com/rabbitholepods, back us at $1. That was the whole point of that. Okay.
That took a long time.
Bear,
Oh,
I defer to you.
Ugh.
Okay.
You had some kind of update
Updates. Yes.
that I didn't even know we were doing this as a regular segment on the show, but you know what? Fuck it. I need content. So
Updates for things that are so not important but super crucial to know.
and things
Well-
that I think people mostly have forgotten by now. So we may need a reminder.
I'm excited to get
Yeah.
an update because I had forgotten.
okay. So if we remember from a few episodes ago when Jason and I did the Fall Out Boy episode, Colleen Ballinger, who is
Colleen.
a very,
Isn't she Colleen Ballinger?
I don't
She's
care to
that
say her name
pretentious?
correctly.
She's like pretentious. Colleen.
She does say it Colleen, but I always say Colleen because I don't care.
She's pretentious.
But also known as Miranda Sings, very big YouTuber. She recently has had a lot of scandal and drama surrounding her based
She's
around
obnoxious.
allegations of her being obnoxious for one. I never liked her, but also because of her grooming and kind of not in a, sexually exploiting children, but definitely exploiting them emotionally. And so we talked about that a few episodes ago and got the lowdown on all that drama. A documentarian YouTuber called Swoop recently had an exclusive interview with Colleen's ex-husband, and there was some shit in it. Also, Lisa, you're muted if you're trying to talk.
I don't think I knew. Sorry, I did that to prevent myself from interjecting, and it worked. I don't think I knew she was divorced.
Yeah, okay. So here's the thing. She had her ex-husband. They got together. She kind of gave him an ultimatum of like either you ask me to marry you or we're breaking up. So he proposed to her. They got married. They went on vacation in Hawaii, and this is when shit, like their honeymoon was in Hawaii, and this is when shit hits the fan for the first time because she texts Shane Dawson and tells Shane that Josh was throwing shit around the room and was angry and had torn up the room.
Jesus.
Whether that's true or not is debated, but that does mean she brought Shane Dawson of all people into their relationship in like the first week of it.
Ew.
But she had a Netflix show called Haters Back Off.
Mhm.
And she's now married to her co-star of Haters Back Off. Josh has said that during filming, he realized some shit was up. And he thought that Colleen was cheating on him.
Mm-hmm.
And people kind of went back now and have been combing and have kind of found
Evidence.
there's a little bit of proof. Yeah, there's some
Oop.
evidence. At the very
Oop.
least, the timeline of their relationship doesn't make sense because like she got divorced and then like months later was like, oh yeah, I'm pregnant and getting married. And there were like
other
videos
dude.
of her and her family on vacation, and Eric, who's her current husband, was there with them, like right
Ew.
after her and Josh got. So her family was also in on this.
Ugh, that's icky.
But this whole time she was like gaslighting Josh and being like, no, I didn't cheat on you. I didn't cheat on you.
That's really icky.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's sketch. But then also it came out that she was talking to her underage fans about the size of her ex-husband's dick, the size of her current husband's dick, to the point of where they had a joke where they would refer to Josh just by raising their pinky.
Jesus Christ.
She's a horrible person.
Oh my God.
Personally, if I was him, I would have sawed myself in half. He was an alcoholic, but he has since recovered. God bless him.
Good for him.
Um, but it's it's like 2 hours long. I rec everyone go watch it because it's so fucking good.
The update or?
Yeah, like the Swoop video.
Oh, this
Swoop
hideous interview.
Swoop is also such a good documentarian. She did an 8 Passengers thing a few months ago, and if you've heard about 8 Passengers, they're that family in Utah where the mom was like super abusing her kids, and one of the kids escaped the basement of her business partner's house where he was tied up with duct tape and was being starved, and he escaped to a neighbor's house.
Oh.
But
that's shit that happens in books I read. Like that should not be real.
She said she was part of this group called Connections that was like a parenting group that believed that like children don't deserve unconditional love.
Yikes.
And shit like that.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
But now her family,
this is good content.
And her family is all family vloggers too, because she was a family vlogger. And so now all of her family's coming out and being like, we don't support her. We didn't know this was going on. But it's like, you're also family vloggers. Like, this isn't good. Family vlogging is inherently a little exploitative.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, anyway, go watch Swoop. She has great videos.
Apparently JoJo Siwa is defending her.
Yeah, JoJo Siwa is defending her. I'm also happy to say I have not liked JoJo Siwa even when she came out as a lesbian. Like, she came out and I was still like, I don't trust her.
This is weird. I don't like it.
Yeah, I was blissfully unaware of a lot of these people.
I don't, and now you know. Welcome to the
very blissfully unaware.
Imagine living in my world where I keep up with this stuff consistently.
You know what I watched? So it's like I can't even, throw stones, but it's like I was watching yesterday. Somebody shared a reel of some, I don't know, I guess she's a TikToker or something, doing impressions of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Mm-hmm. And it was like she plays Kourtney and then she plays Kim and she plays Khloe. And it was just really funny. She had like a really bad, like blonde wig for Khloe. And she had her hands like this. And they basically had like strips of Post-its coming off her like this.
Okay, now I think I've seen this.
Okay, it was super funny. And they were talking about like the nuggets. And Kourtney was saying how she's anti-chicken nugget, and Kim was talking about the Nuggets basketball team. And it's like they're all going back. It was the funniest thing. One, because I could recognize it because I have in my dark and stormy past watched some Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Two, I actually went down the rabbit hole and found her like fans page and was trying to find more videos like this. So, I mean, you're Bear talking about, following this Colleen Ballinger stuff. And here's me trying to find more videos of this girl and making fun of the Kardashians. Like, we do what we do.
Yeah. I don't ever watch people like just making fun of people. I like watching internet drama. So like right now I'm watching a video from the H3 podcast called Russell Brand is a Weird Freak Loser and We Never Liked Him Anyway.
See, I don't know why that's news. Because that's the way I felt about him the second he became famous. I was like, he's creepy and weird.
He's
I don't
weird.
like him.
Yeah.
I don't like him. I've never liked him.
But these people have never liked him. But I'm not at the part of the video yet because it got posted 17 hours ago, and I was driving home last night, so I was a little sleepy. So I'm only 50 minutes
proud
into the
of you
episode.
to not be listening to that while you drive.
I actually usually do listen to it while I drive. I just listen to music and talk to my girlfriend most of this drive because
that's fair.
It was just I'm seeing a concert tonight, so I wanted to listen to the music.
Who you seeing?
I'm seeing the Front Bottoms. They are a Midwest emo band.
Amazing name.
Well, and I'm kind of not that excited, and I feel bad because
You've
I have
done that before, though, and you've had a good time.
But the problem is, it's because other people are talking about how bad this concert is.
Oh no!
Because their latest album, I like all their old music a lot, but their latest album. Midwest emo is a genre where people strum a guitar and are like, my dad sucks. My girlfriend's hot, but I miss her. And so there's not a lot of, it's very raw and kind of shitty, but that's part of the appeal.
I mean, I guess I'll take your word for that.
But so there's not a lot of electronic stuff. They use an abundance of auto-tune, purposeful like
Ew.
auto-tune to make it sound like and it doesn't
This sounds like I would not enjoy it.
it doesn't work. It doesn't work with Midwest emo.
Not
'Cause
for
I'm someone-
everything. Like every once in a while, like one quick song just because it's funny. But after that, no.
There's a few of theirs that do it well on the new album, but like I
No.
like the first leg of their tour didn't had like one my favorite song ever by them, but then also had like better choices overall. Their
Oh my
newest their
God. I'm having issues. Sorry.
YouTube viewers get to witness that. Their newest
Sorry.
their newer stuff is just and if apparently they're doing the auto-tune at the concert, and 9 times out of 10 auto-tune at concerts just does not have the same effect as it does
No, it's
in
just
albums.
Right.
And it's in the Egyptian Room in Indianapolis, if anyone knows what that is. This is a small room. It's not big, it's cramped. I'm on the risers of the Egyptian Room, but like it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be great.
It'll be fun.
I think you're gonna
get
have
it.
a good time.
I'll
You're gonna
get-
have
I'll
a good time.
I'll get
You're
a
gonna
t-shirt
message
out of it.
us. You're
So
gonna
you
message
keep-
us and say, "I had a wonderful time." That's what you're gonna do.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those like Mystery Science Theater things where you're just going to make fun of it the whole time, and that's what's going to be entertaining.
Yep.
Yeah, at the very
P.S.
least,
No, do your thing first.
all of them are all the kind of songs I'm about are at the very, very end.
Oh, so you can leave early. That's good.
Yeah. If it's really, really bad and I'm like, no, I'll just go buy a shirt.
When you get to be old like me, that's ideal because you're like, oh, I'm here for the concert. I can say that I came, but I get to leave.
Well, my parking reservations also end at 1 a.m. So
Oh wow.
Yeah, but that's normal, right? Like the concert's not going to go that late.
it starts at 8:30.
Yeah. Oh, wait, is it
Yeah.
another one of those concerts where there's 12 opening bands?
Maybe.
Oh yeah. I was about to ask that. Yeah.
It's so dumb.
So
dumb. P.S. Jason and people on YouTube get to see this delight. So Jason's using one of those, background filters, and he keeps adjusting his Yeti microphone, which the filter is actually erasing. So it's really funny because he has twice adjusted it, and the stupid thing is like he's just playing with the stars,
yeah.
and it's very distracting.
Woo.
Yeah.
Speaking of concerts, I guess I could talk about this. I went to see Smashing Pumpkins 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
So cool.
Now they only had 2 opening acts.
Yeah, that's normal.
That's a normal concert.
Wait, Fall Out Boy only had 3.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Too many. 2 at best. Why? Oh, that's weird. Look at this.
Well, Front Bottoms
Whoa,
only
what the
has.
fuck? What the fuck is happening? Is Lisa in the Matrix?
I'm trying to do. Also, by the way, I need to point this out. 1, I have a cat.
Mew.
2, Blathers is watching me.
Really
So-
enthralling stuff for the podcast listeners.
Hey, you know what? This is why they need to be a Patreon so they can see the YouTube video.
Well, they see the YouTube
Wait,
video
the
anyway.
YouTube videos get posted.
Yeah, those are
Those
fun.
aren't exclusive.
Never mind. I
But
thought I was helping Jason, so never mind.
you're good. No, you're good.
I have this picture of JoJo Siwa and Colleen Ballinger on my friggin' close that tab. All right, never mind.
Are they punching each other?
Oh yeah, but how was Smashing Pumpkins?
Smashing Pumpkins was
good.
great.
So good.
So we got there. We missed the first opening act.
Who was it? Do you remember?
Some band called Rising Suns. Never heard of
I don't
them.
know who that is.
Don't know who they are. If I had to guess, they're probably on Billy Corgan's record label.
Yeah, usually
I
that
had to
works.
guess.
And they're probably local, so they just pick
Yeah.
up a local act for all those things.
That's how
Or-
Fall Out Boy was.
Then their other opening was the band Interpol, who
They're good. They're fun. I like seeing them.
they had some stuff in the early 2000s. I recognized one song. Couldn't tell you what it was called, but I recognized it. So we were in the very back. Like we were right at like the last row of seats before it becomes the lawn section.
Mhm.
That was where we sat.
I like sitting there
Which is fine. It didn't bother me really.
because you get the air. You're not stuck. Under
Yeah,
the overhang,
and it
like
was
you can still enjoy the breeze.
It was also mildly annoying because this made people stop right behind us to talk to people 2 rows in front of me. and that's where they decide to have a conversation
I hate
most of
everyone.
the time.
I haven't said that yet today. This
well,
is pretty good. 10:30.
if you remember when we saw Fall Out Boy, those people behind us who were in a box spent the entire time talking,
Yeah.
and it was like, shut the
up.
fuck up. What is
No,
wrong
I remember
with
that too.
you?
Nope, yep, I remember that. Yeah.
And then they like jumped over our seats to get out instead of just walking backwards
Oh,
and leaving
yeah,
out of
that's
the box.
right. I forgot about that.
What is
Yeah.
wrong with people?
I don't know. Somehow concerts just make people act like fucking morons. I don't know.
I was like, man, I hope one of these bitches falls.
I
That's what you
forgot
end up
all
doing.
about
You're
that.
like all excited to see someone take a header into the fucking sidewalk.
But then yeah, Smashing Pumpkins came out, and so I'm gonna say this: I'm still a fan of them.
Of course.
They did not
Damn.
but they did not do a lot of the songs I was hoping they would do.
No, they don't anymore. They want to do
Because
their new stuff.
they have a new album that's came out this year.
Yep.
So they did a lot of those. They did a lot of their later stuff when they became electronica band out of nowhere. So they did a lot of those songs. They did go to like,
Did they play I?
they did not do I, which that disappointed me.
I
That
love
really
that
disappointed me. I do too. I love that song. But they did do like Today. They did 1979. They did Disarm, Tonight. They did like the big stuff, like,
Nice.
Ava Adore. All those were great. And they sounded amazing, actually. They've been around for 30 plus years.
Yep.
They still sounded great. Billy's voice was still, there. He wasn't losing it. What was interesting was that James, the guitar player, did all the talking. Like whenever they would talk to the audience, he was the one that was doing the talking. He'd be like, "Hello, Indianapolis," and like,
Maybe
"Oh,
Corgan was saving his voice or something.
I don't know. Maybe
I
don't
mean,
know."
at most Fall Out Boy stuff, Pete does a lot of the talking.
But see, that makes more sense because he's more of like I would
People know who
identify
the fuck he
more.
is.
I identify more like Fall Out Boy from Pete than I do Patrick, and I know
Not
Patrick,
recently.
but I know
No,
Patrick.
I did it too, so it's funny because what was I doing? I was looking up Fall Out Boy because I know what it was. It was another stupid reel. And somebody was doing the arms race. They were playing that thing, but
yeah.
they were doing the arms. And so I'm like, what's this thing with the Patrick's like what is this? So of course I went looking for the video. And you Google Fall Out Boy and you get all Pete Wentz. And what's funny is I'm not an emo person. I'm not an emo fan. Alt Nation will do like emo weekend and I hate it because it gets too
Love
whiny for
emo
me.
weekend.
I know, and it's totally fair. I'm okay with a couple here and there, but when it's just song after song after song, I'm ready to throw myself off a roof, which is probably the point. But anyway, I saw pictures of Pete Wentz and I was like, oh, I don't think I knew he was Fall Out Boy. And then my brain went down this weird twisty thing because I'm like, no, I think I did, but I didn't know he wasn't the lead. I thought Pete Wentz was a lead singer. I didn't realize that he was not. And I'm like, oh, so wait, okay. So this is the guy that I should be looking. I had this whole weird moment where my brain was like Mandela affecting itself. And I'm like, wait, I thought I knew all of this and I didn't. And frankly, I don't care, but I did have that weird moment.
Like when I think Fall Out Boy,
See
I first think of Pete Wentz just because I felt like he was the one that was like being shoved in our faces.
He was the
more.
one everywhere, yeah.
Because he's like the good-looking guy.
He got into a lot of controversy too, because he's fucked about half of the
And there it
bands,
is.
and then he also like is the
Wait,
one who had
didn't
the,
he
he had the
marry
dick
Ashley
pic
Simpson?
scandal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that
Or
didn't
or
last
something.
long. Didn't last very long, but yeah, they did.
They were. See, I just looked it up. Yes, they were.
yeah. Well, so he's like people talk about all the time how a shit ton of Fall Out Boy songs are about Mikey Way, and Katy
know who
Perry
that is.
has a song where it starts with like "I hope you hang yourself with your scarf," and that's about Pete Wentz
Jesus Christ.
because that's how. So like he got around.
Yeah,
Patrick Stump. I've always been a Patrick girly. I love Patrick Stump. He's so cute.
that's fair. That's fair.
He's my
That's fair.
baby. I love him.
I just like looking up people who have interesting voices because I want to know what they look like. Right? Like
I
Andy
think
from
Patrick
Manchester
has-
Orchestra does not look the way you would. He's like a big old lumberjack type dude. And he's got that incredible voice. And it's just, I find that fascinating.
A few episodes of Musically Ignorant ago, I did a OK Go song for
I love
Lackey.
OK Go.
And I completely forget that they're from Chicago. Like I knew that, but I always just forget because they don't ever come up in like, you know, famous bands from Chicago. It's always like Fall Out Boy, Smashing Pumpkins, Kanye gets thrown in there. But like, but OK Go, they're from Chicago. And side note, Lackey actually ended up going to school with the drummer, but that's a whole other story. That's on that show. Go check that out.
That's
fun. But anyway, I was talking to Lackey about them, and I was saying this. I said, I always forget they're from Chicago because if you look at the band, they don't look like they're from Chicago. Whereas Fall Out Boy, Patrick Stump 100% looks like he's from the fucking south side of Chicago.
What does that look like? What does a Chicagoan look like?
It's hard to explain if you're not from like the Midwest, but you can
my
smell it on.
You can smell. Smelling is not the sight sense.
Well, smell metaphor. Like you can just look and be like, yeah.
No,
you're from Chicago.
There's like a look. Yeah, there's a look. Like it is hard to explain it really, but like I can look at somebody and be like, I think they're from Chicago. OK Go throws me for a loop because none of them, they all look like they're from LA. Like
you can do the same thing with people from the north side of Indianapolis. You can just, if they're in Indianapolis, you can tell if they're from the north side.
I have met women who I'm like, oh, you're from Westfield.
You're from Carmel.
Yeah.
Aren't you?
Yeah. No, I've done that too. I've done that too.
That's awesome.
But Smashing Pumpkins. So yeah. So James did a lot of the talking. And I almost wondered if it was like they were worried that Billy was gonna say something stupid. Because I felt like he was holding back.
He does sometimes.
He does say really stupid things. I am admitting this right now. Like he says a lot of dumb shit, and he's very religious now. But like he knows that that's not popular, so he keeps it. He tries to keep it.
It's not popular. Have faith.
But a lot of Smashing Pumpkins songs, if you really look into it, are actually religious. You just don't realize it. And he made a joke about one of the songs, because this was in Indianapolis, and they were talking about Larry Bird, and they said, yeah, we're in Indianapolis, we're in Indiana, the home of Larry Bird. And they said, true story, our song 33 is about Larry Bird, because he was number 33 when he played basketball.
In Boston.
For the non-sports people, I'm explaining. In Boston, but Larry Bird is from Indiana. He's from French Lick, Indiana. Which is a hilarious fucking name for a city.
I don't see the problem with it.
French Lick?
Indiana defender number 1 over here.
Anyway, I'm not a fan of Indiana. And I'm just forced to live here. But he said he made that joke, and then Billy quickly said, no, never mind. The song is actually about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
And
I'm like,
God.
oh, Billy, come on, man. The song is actually about Jesus. If you look at the lyrics, to that song, like, it's like, oh my God, this is literally about Jesus. That's fucking wild.
I'm sorry. I'm distracted again. I don't mean to. So I just said, but Jason, if you look, you'll be entertained. I promise. So I had Twitch open on my other screen, and I just happen to have it on the homepage because none of my people are online. See, there's another face. See, I like this. So people are going to come back and look at this video. I want you to look at Bear's face, and then I want you to look at Jason's face, because there's this weird video of some girl. I don't know what this is, and I do not. So the view, it's the live channels we think you'd like. There is absolutely no reason why this should be on my, like, I would admit if I'm watching something a little creepy, fine, I'll tell you, but I'm not. So there's this picture of this girl who's got like pasties on her, and the title of it is Oiled Up Shower Jumping Something. And I'm like, what the hell is this? So I screenshot it and I drop it in the chat. And so there's a moment when Bear leans in to see it on their screen. And it's just really funny because you can tell where it's like. And then there's a moment where
I'm using my drawing pad.
So I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting it.
So funny.
I wasn't expecting it from you.
Now I feel like you should put it like in the show notes or something.
And then
really
oddly,
image.
I'll save it. And then oddly, it kind of ties into the Patreon exclusive that I got playing.
Oh my God.
Which is weird. And that was just so weird that it came up, but we'll get to that in a minute.
And then I'm sorry, I got distracted because
You're
watching
good.
your faces was too good.
Nah, you're good.
It's just like
anyway, the Smashing Pumpkins show was great. I had a good time.
Which is awesome. I'm glad that you had a good time.
I took a bunch of video. One of the videos that I took, this random moment that happened that I can't explain. I was there and I can't explain it. Where during a song, this lady in a bikini comes out, starts dancing, and then two little kids, like maybe ages 5 or 6, came out, started dancing with the lady in the bikini. And then this shirtless guy in jeans comes out, starts yelling at the girl in the bikini, and then shoves her to the side, and he starts dancing.
What the hell?
And then the lady grabs like a bunch of flowers and then beats the guy with the flowers. And then her and the kids keep dancing, and then like right when the song ends, everyone just leaves the stage. And none of this is
performance art.
I don't know. None of this is reference. They didn't interact with the band. The band didn't interact with them. This just happened like around them, like on stage. And it was never referenced. No one said anything about it. They didn't even make a joke about it. Like it just happened. And I'm thinking this was like Billy's like idea of like, hey, let's have a weird thing happen. So people video it, I guess. Cause it was during one of their newer songs. So maybe I'm onto a conspiracy theory here. That they're like, we need to get our new songs going, but we got to like do something weird.
That is
people
stupid.
Film because people are going to film this.
It's true.
And I did. I fell for it. I filmed it. But
That's
yeah,
crazy.
But yeah, that happened. But anyway, and the other crazy thing that happened was Batman showed up.
I mean, as you do.
So, like I said, we're at the very last row where the seats are. And then, so immediately behind us is like a walkway. And then after that is the grass section. And so I'm just watching the show. And then I see something like on my peripheral vision, like off to my right. And then Felicia taps me on the shoulder and she points and I look and it's a guy in like a full Batman costume, like the Keaton Batman. Like the black rubber and the symbols in the center of the chest and everything. And he's got the headpiece on, like it's fully decked out Batman. And then he's just kind of standing there by me. And I'm like, I'm trying to process this because I did not expect that when I turned around. You don't expect, you know what? Batman likes to surprise people. He fucking did it. He fucking surprised me.
Amazing.
So I went to go take his picture, and then he extended his cape, and it turned to like bat wings.
Oh, nice!
Like this guy went the full 9.
This is a guy who shows up at cons.
Yeah, and it was amazing though. Like he did a great job with this. I got to give him props. And so then, of course, he's going through like the lawn section, taking videos and pictures and stuff. I'm
basically making people look at him.
No, but seriously, this guy was amazing. I got to give him a shout out. So whoever you are, dude, that was a great costume. You did amazing. I hope I see you at Gen Con because you're going to fucking kill at Gen Con.
Yeah, we have people like that here.
There's a song tonight at my concert called Batman that's getting played probably. So maybe he'll be there.
Oh, hey, let me know if he is. Yeah. Let me know.
I hope he's not.
Why?
Not in the Egyptian room. There's not enough room for that nonsense.
Well, he might not do the wings.
Full expanse of his cape.
He might not do the wings, but he might still be there.
It's too hot in there too. He'd die of heat stroke.
And that's the
thing
too.
Though people who do that, they're used to that. Like,
right.
They're constantly walking around in some con or whatever.
I know you've never been to the Egyptian room, Lisa, and I don't know if you have, Jason.
I've
that
not.
Shit
oh wait,
is all standing room and it's tiny. They fit like max capacity amount of people in there, so you're like shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, I have been in there. Yeah, once,
and
but yes,
it's hot. That's why I'm in the risers.
It does kind of suck. But anyway, that was my Smashing Pumpkins concert experience. A lot of fun. I would recommend it. Even though they don't play a lot of their hits, they did talk about one of my favorite songs from them, which is called Mayonnaise.
That's a good song.
But they were like, they didn't want to play it, and they got around it by calling it the condiment song, which is like what I'm going to be calling it from now on because it's fucking hilarious.
Why can't they?
They were like very adamant in that they didn't want to play it. I don't know why.
Maybe they're just sick of playing it.
That's just.
I don't know. But they were like, no, we're not gonna do the condiment song tonight, and then they went on to something else. I thought that was funny though. Okay, I got one last thing I want to talk about before the mixtape, and this should be pretty quick. You guys know about the Drew Barrymore situation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I'm just gonna explain this for the listeners who don't. So Drew Barrymore, she's got a TV show, and a few weeks ago she was gonna start her show back up. But the problem is, in case you're not aware, there's a writer's strike happening, and on top of the writer's strike, there's an actor's strike happening as well. They're both on strike. So a lot of TV, like especially like talk shows and stuff like that, has not been in production since like May.
Anybody who has writers should not be in production right now.
Right. But like, this is also affecting like scripted shows and stuff and movies and stuff. But the main thing is like talk shows. They're constantly going like 365. So that's why I singled them out. So they have not been in production since May. So Drew Barrymore was going to come back and do her show. She got a lot of shit for this.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of crossing a picket line. You don't do that.
Here's my question. Bear, this might be iffy for you, but Lisa, do you remember the 2007 writer's strike?
Yeah.
Okay. Talk shows came back during that.
Yeah, and there's a reason they had to go on strike again.
I'd have to go back and look because I haven't done any research on that.
No, I could tell you. I just wanted to see if you guys remember this. Okay. So
I only remember that a strike happened. I don't remember
audience,
details of it.
I was 5.
That's why I was like, Bear might be iffy about this, but
I know about it now.
2007, there was a writer's strike. A lot of the shows were on strike, including the talk shows. And then at one point, and I don't know who did it first, but one talk show was like, we need to go into production because we have camera people, sound people, production people who are out of a job. They're not working. They got families and shit. So we need to do our show. So what they did, and the only show that I watched was Conan, was they had no writing. It was just them going out and just doing shit for an hour. Mm-hmm. And then they would have guests, which is where I think the difference lies between then and now might be the guest part. But they would have guests and they would talk, and then that would be the show. But they didn't have any writers. It was just basically Conan improvising.
Yeah, Leno did
it too. Leno did it. Letterman, I think, did it. I think like most of them eventually did it.
See, I think so. What
I'm finding here is Letterman's company came to a settlement with the WGA.
Yeah, I was going to agree with Lisa. I thought it was an agreed upon thing. It wasn't just for
that's what I'm wondering.
Picket. But also the goals of the 2007 writer's strike were different because 2007 was mostly based on DVD residuals and then also on jurisdiction over residuals from new media. And then this one is for like a lot more because it's calling for like insurance, streaming, like professional standards, protections for writers. So there's a lot more at stake with this one. Not to mention like obviously 2007, 2008 had some results, but it wasn't enough for the long term. Because like Peace and Love, but DVD residuals weren't.
Right. Okay.
It's not like it's interesting. Like I'm not super well versed in either of them, but it's interesting to look at.
Unions.
So okay. So my whole point was when I kept wondering, like, okay, so why don't they just do what they did last time? Just don't have writers, just do the show. And then I'm like, well, the actors thing is probably what's fucking this up because they can't do anything either. Like the actors can't.
Well, they can. They just can't talk about.
They can't promote
properties. Yes.
Right. They can't promote stuff, which has been making con season very fucking weird.
Yes.
But I'm like, okay, still, they can have the celebrities on. They just can't promote stuff, which is fine.
I think it's still crossing.
But typically, my favorite moments anyway is when they're not talking about their bullshit and they're just like having fun and goofing off and stuff. So I was kind of looking forward to that. So I always kept wondering, like, well, why don't they do that? And then Drew Barrymore said she was going to, and then everyone gave her shit.
Yeah,
and
I think
to the point where she got bullied into not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
But then it made me wonder why like, why can't they
Because
just do what they did in 2007?
you're still making entertainment. Part of the point of this is that you're not getting those entertainment forms anymore at all. Because, like, with writers, they're making all of this entertainment. If you say, fine, I'm going to make a different type of entertainment, you're still crossing that picket line. So it's like having factory workers and saying, okay, well, I'm not going to bring in more factory workers. I'm going to bring in office people. Like, you're still bringing in workers of some kind. You're still like, or if you just switch your factories. Like,
the other thing here, go ahead. Sorry, Bear.
No, I was gonna say, if you switch the factory, you're still producing stuff. You're just switching factories. If you're making a show, even if you're not using writers, you're still making entertainment that's going to affect the writer strike detrimentally because you're giving people what they want. And the whole point of a strike is to not give the masses what they want.
There's also, we also have the fact that this strike has already gone on longer than the last one did. The last one lasted 3 months. We're already past the 4-month mark on this one.
Yeah.
So there's obviously a difference there.
Yeah.
And looking at this, you know, you're talking about, you know, like who gets the residuals from the DVDs and whatever. Whereas this, they're looking more about future job security. They're looking about AI here. Which
I know AI was like the big thing about
this
about the strike.
Friggin' deal. So bottom line is, like, I think before where you were dealing with minimal money, here they're really making sure that something that is changing so quickly with AI and how much power it has and how it just becomes more powerful with each given week. They're really trying to hold on to creative freedom and creative rights.
Amen.
And so it makes a much bigger deal, right? Like, they're not getting severance pay. They're not getting anything right now. And so that's also a big deal. So Drew Barrymore, who frankly does not need to be working, you know, like, there are people in her employ who can just about make it week to week right now. And for her to say, well, I think we should go back, is really obnoxious. Because she's showing that she doesn't care about those smaller staffers who really, you know, need this kind of thing on there. And I think, you know, I don't know specifically what's going on or what went on in 2007, but, you know, like, to make sure people have jobs, you have various charities, you have various organizations that are making sure people have a place to go and people have funding for whatever it is they need to do to make it one-to-one.
I do know, like, certain talk shows have, like, gotten, like, together and, like, you know, we're going to pay for my crew.
Right.
Okay, this is going to be a long list of names, and I got to try to remember them all.
And she wasn't doing that.
So Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, Seth Meyers, and John Oliver. They've teamed up to do a podcast for Spotify, and all the 100% of the funds of that podcast goes to their crew, which I think that's a good, but okay, now here's my question to both of you who say that's crossing a picket line. What's the difference between doing a podcast and doing a TV show? And I'm asking that as a podcast.
So the podcast is them doing it independently. The major networks and the major streaming services are not the ones. They don't have anything going on right now with Spotify. Spotify is not a content distributor for what's being struck right now. So they can do that. I'd be willing to bet that they're not releasing the podcast on, like, Apple, for instance, because Apple is a content distributor. I might be wrong.
You know, I think you are right. I think it's just Spotify. I think it's
Spotify.
That's the thing. Like, they're making sure that these massive, massive companies, are not getting anything from them, and they're making sure that it's really underground. This is why, like, independent film companies and things like that, some of them have an easier time with being able to show up on podcasts or show up at cons. If you go to a con, moderators and such, I have experience with this simply because I was supposed to do a con recently. Yeah. Unfortunately, I had to pull back because of a personal situation. But you know, we were explicitly told you cannot ask any of these people about their properties and characters. Right. Great. How do I run this? So, for example, like Robert Englund in a recent con appearance, the moderator did not ask him questions. He asked questions of the audience.
Okay.
And that's how they ran his panel, which is super cool.
That makes sense. And that works. Yeah.
Like he can still appear. He can still take photos. He can still sign autographs and stuff. He just can't promote
exactly
any of that stuff.
That's a good idea.
That means people are going to go out and give money to these companies. So,
all right. Well, like I said, I was just curious about that because I kept waiting for this try. I'm like, well, there's going to be a point where they're just going to come back and just not have writers. But apparently that's like a big deal now. And I was just like, why?
As it should be.
Why?
It's a show of solidarity, really. Like, for instance, if your local grocery store has picketers, you do not go to that grocery store. You go find a different one. You don't go to the same one. You don't go to a different franchise location. If anything, you go find an independent grocery store and you do your grocery shopping there, because that's the point.
We love IGAs in this house.
Yeah. I mean, the idea is you would never cross, because you're essentially saying to that workforce, your well-being doesn't matter to me because I need my, Frosted Flakes. Like, that kind of stuff. It's a big deal being able to be unionized and being able to have people respect that you need certain working conditions in order to do what you do.
Yeah, I don't know if we've talked about it on here as much, but I got a scholarship literally because of the work with unions I did in high school. I love unions. I love unionizing. I think everyone should be in a union. Other than police, fuck them.
I will say this though. If you go to YouTube and look up the episodes Conan did while they were on strike, that was probably some of the best TV that they have done in like a long
disaster
time.
Yeah.
No, that's just it. It wasn't. It was actually
like flying by the seat of your pants is fascinating,
But like he was, I think this speaks for Conan as a person, and that he's just naturally funny, that he really doesn't need writers, and you can just shove him in front of a camera or a microphone. And then his podcast is seriously one of my favorite shows, like hands down. Like that's like my number one favorite podcast is his podcast, because it's just him being himself with his coworkers or friends or whatever. And he's just a brilliantly funny guy who really, and again, he doesn't need writers. But
the other side of this to keep in mind, Drew Barrymore is a member of SAG. She's a member of the Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah.
She should not be working either.
Oh, okay. I didn't even think about that part.
That's another element here.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Now
she's all saying, clicks. Oh, I need to. No, you don't.
That's right. She is an actress. And yeah. Okay. Very well explained. I like it. Okay. Thank you guys. You guys are way smarter than me. I've always said that.
Well, I'm in a union, so I'm in a union, and my parents were in unions, so it's like I was brought up very early on. You do not cross the picket line.
Considering
as I say, my family's very pro-union.
Lisa, considering who your dad was, I'm gonna say union in quotes. Okay. With that said,
my dad's family, not my dad.
If you know, you know. All right. With that said, it is indeed the time for the mixtape. I was watching you, Lisa. I was watching you. That was more entertaining for the YouTube viewers.
Yes.
Bear, you have the mixtape this week. I forgot to remind you at the beginning of the show.
I already remembered. It's
good.
Okay.
So you're
Is
first.
It an emo song?
It is not.
Good.
What do you got, Bear?
Also, really quick, we didn't do the Run P ad.
Run P.
Okay, good. We did the Run P ad. Okay. So my song.
Is it related?
My song is
we do need to do more Run P ads.
No, that's fair.
This is true. So my song is by Flo Morrissey and Matthew White, and it's called Look at What the Light Did Now. Jason, I'll send you a link because I saw the look on your face.
You just said a lot of words.
I mean, it is a podcast, Jason.
Yeah.
You said a lot of words for something that I was not expecting a lot of words for. There.
Okay, I will just send you the link to the song.
All right. I got it mostly written down. Okay, continue.
That was it. I said what it was.
No, I mean, I
It's
know if you were going to talk about it a little bit
oh,
or
I have a playlist that's kind of all like jazzy music. This isn't a jazzy song. I don't know how to describe the genre of this playlist, but it's kind of like funky. Um, it's called This Feeling on Spotify if anyone ever wants to look it up. But I don't know, it's a good song. I actually sang this in a duet with someone in high school.
Aw.
I did for listeners who hear the song, I did the high pitched parts, which was a wreck because I cannot sing high usually, so I had to really, really work on that.
I love
But
it.
I think it ended up good, and it's a good song.
okay. All right, awesome. I look forward to hearing that during editing. My pick is from a band. They're from Detroit, apparently. I just learned this. And they got two very popular songs. I'm going to do one of the two popular songs. I contemplated going for the other popular song because I think it's goofier. And I'm just going to say right now, that song is called Gay Bar. But my song is called Danger High Voltage from the band Electric Six.
Yeah.
High
voltage.
Yes. I constantly get that song in my head like all the time. And I sometimes change the lyrics just because of how things line up. I instead of saying fire at the disco, I always say panic at the disco just because it just sounds funny to me.
Yeah,
But then
I mean that's a natural.
but then the next
progression.
line is fire at the Taco Bell, so then I say panic at the Taco Bell. So anyway, this is a really goofy ass kind of a goofy ass song. The video is really fucking weird. If you are brave to watch the music video, I say do it. Otherwise, you're gonna have a tough time with it. Because it is really fucking wacky. Gay Bar is probably even whack. Actually, I think this is wackier than Gay Bar, believe it or not. Because Gay Bar is just the guy dressed as Abraham Lincoln with other guys dressed as Abraham Lincoln. And then there's
Literally my worst nightmare.
and then a hamster makes an appearance, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. I didn't make the video. Don't look at me like that. Anyway, that is my song, Electric Six.
Danger.
High
voltage.
All right, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, Elisa and Bear is going to play a game while I promote a podcast. Stay tuned.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Bubba Weed.
Hey, did you know the song Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel? He was actually talking about his penis.
What? The whole time?
Yeah, it's, he was talking about having sex. And did you know that the song Blinding Lights by The Weeknd was actually about driving under the influence?
Under the influence? I figured driving because of the lights, but under the influence as well?
And did you know that Weapon of Choice was actually about Dune?
No. Now I know you're lying.
It could be. And at Lyrical Innuendo, we actually discuss these songs and more and decide if they are really about sex, drugs, or if they're just rock and roll. And you can find the newest episodes on Spotify and everything else at rabbitholepodcasts.com.
Okay, we are back. And for the Patreons, your Patreon exclusive, I've uncovered something really interesting going on YouTube.
Oh, boy.
And I am going to discuss this over on Patreon. So patreon.com/rabbitholepods. $1 will get you to watch that. Yes, I will put that in the dollar exclusive. So if you join at $1, you will get to see this amazing conspiracy that I've uncovered. And I know Lisa and Bear are going to look at me like I'm nuts, but you know what? I'm used to it by now.
It's just how I look at you.
So, here at Rabbit Hole Podcast, we have started a brand new show called Hersing Around, starring friends Isabel, Chris R, and Carl. And the show is about dead celebrities, mainly when they die. They will go over their career, what they've done, yada yada. And then at the end of it, Carl hosts a game called "Are You as Brain Dead as They Are?" And so, with Carl's permission, we are going to play that game with Bear and Lisa. So here's how it works. I have a dead celebrity. I am going to give you 10 facts about this celebrity. We're going to do these one at a time.
Okay.
Bear's going to go first. I'm just going to have Bear go first.
Oh, God damn it.
It's going to flip every clue.
See,
is going to flip.
I'm bad at dead celebrities.
That's why you go first.
Also, because you all ask me questions about celebrities I don't know, because I'm not old.
I think I picked a pretty popular one, like
Which
very
means
popular.
I'm not going to know them.
But no, very trust me, very popular. Okay. So
very popular.
So here's how this will work. So Bear will go first. I'm going to read the first clue. Bear's going to try to guess based on the first clue. If Bear gets it wrong, it'll go to Lisa. Lisa will guess. If Lisa gets it wrong, nothing happens. We go to second clue. But then Lisa will start with the second clue, and then it's going to flip flop like that. Okay. I will call your name before I ask, so there's no confusion.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So it's going to start kind of hard because I didn't want you guys to get this immediately. Because this is what I was working on before the show, and you guys were like, hey, we're supposed to be recording right now. And I'm like, oh, shit, I thought I had another hour. So I only got one of these. I wasn't going to do two.
This is why procrastination bites you in the butt.
But anyway, I think we're going to be okay. So, Bear, clue number 1. She was born August 6, 1911 in Jamestown, New York.
Betty White.
No, Lisa.
I don't know.
I will take it. Number 2, Lisa. She got into entertainment at the age of 12 when her stepfather encouraged her to audition for the Shriners organization that needed entertainers for a chorus line.
Rita Hayworth.
No, Bear. And remember, this person's dead.
You said this is a well-known person?
Yes. When it gets to the easier clues, you're going to be like, oh. You can say pass or skip, or I don't know. It's fine. You don't have to give an answer.
Betty White.
Okay, number 3, Bear. The show she's famous for debuted on October 15th, 1951, and ran for 6 seasons. Please no Googling. I'm trusting.
I wasn't. I was looking up when Rita Hayworth was born.
I'm just trusting you guys
to
are not
see
Googling.
how far off I was.
So, Bear, that goes to you. I'll read it again. She was, the show she's famous for debuted on October 15th, 1951, and it ran for 6 seasons.
We're so sure it's not Betty White, right? Like, I can't guess her again. I don't know, who had a show who was a woman? Lucille Ball is the only...
That is it!
That was going to be my guess, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know her show ran for 6 seasons. I was just
didn't
trying
either.
to think of a woman.
And that's how you do it.
Okay, well, all right.
It wasn't Betty White?
It was not Betty
No,
White.
it is
Aw.
Lucille Ball. Congratulations. Okay.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
I'll read the rest of the clues just because I worked hard on this. So the next clue was she was married to her co-star for 20 years, stating they weren't happy as a married couple, but after the divorce, they remained friends. Which is Desi Arnaz. She starred in several shows throughout the 60s and 70s and once in the 80s. Now, I see why you could think this is Betty White, but she also extended past the 80s.
We didn't have these clues, so we couldn't have thought it was Betty
No, I know,
White
but if I got
before.
to this point, you guys would have been like, oh, it's fucking Betty White. How's it not Betty?
I still would have said Betty White. I don't
Betty
know
White
anything
better be
about
one
Betty...
of your options because Bear's not going to guess anybody else.
All of the shows that she starred in featured her name.
Yep.
Because she was in I Love Lucy and the Lucy Show and like Here Comes Lucy or something. She had a bunch of shows that had her name in it. The first show that she did with her husband was in black and white, but she was known for being a redhead.
Yeah, at that point.
Yeah.
She was the first woman to not only be pregnant on TV, but to say the word pregnant, which is a true fact.
I knew that.
Yeah,
that would
that's
have
a,
super
yeah.
tipped me off.
She died on April 18th, 1989 at the age of 77.
See, that would have told me nothing. I wasn't
No,
alive.
that's fair. And then the last one, because I was just like I figured at this point, maybe if you guys didn't get it, I was gonna try to throw you one. She shares a name with a Peanuts character. And you guys are like, Peppermint Patty?
Betty White was in Peanuts?
She was the one that kept holding the football.
All right, next one.
I don't have a next one.
He doesn't. He
I
said
can-
You
he
only
did
have one for the whole game.
I just explained the whole
I
I
thing.
thought you meant you had only one or two clues. Oh, for Christ's sake.
I explained the
No, he
Next
said
time,
he,
prepare in advance instead of 15 minutes.
I
before
thought
we're supposed
I
to
had
record.
an hour. I actually, when I
Oh.
started it, I thought I had 2 hours. Because I started this shit at 9 o'clock,
Well, if
and
you
I'm like,
write
I got
things
2
down
hours.
on your calendar.
for listeners, this is the second time this
Okay.
has happened this week.
This week. Yeah, exactly. In the network, because most of the people in the network also screwed up a different date.
Oh well,
Which was an unchangeable day for me too.
you're an unchangeable day.
That's right.
I can't make a your mom joke to you. Fuck.
Your mom never changes.
I had
There.
an unchangeable, lovely date with your mother. Got him. Hi, son.
Oh my
Dorothy
God.
Mantooth is a saint. That is a reference that neither of you get because Lisa doesn't
No.
like comedies, and Bear probably hadn't
Is he
seen it.
related? Is she related to Randolph Mantooth?
No, it's from
Really?
Anchorman. It's from
What is
Anchorman.
happening?
I made an Anchorman reference, and
Wait.
neither of you was gonna get it.
No,
No.
I don't like Anchorman. No, Randolph
not funny.
Mantooth. I only know Randolph Mantooth exists because I was not friends. I actually really dislike him, and I called him a freak. A guy I knew in high school, his name was Randy, which was short for Randolph,
Yeah.
and I was like, what an awful, god awful, shitty ass name to give your child.
Randolph, was he German?
No.
That's
Why as
somehow
hell?
that's
Just
that's
like American as fuck.
Why would you name an American Randolph?
I don't know. It's probably a family name. I
It
have
was a
high
family
voltage
name.
stuck in my head, by the way.
Good. Welcome to my hell.
But he was a freak. He was a freak, and you know he was a freak because his nickname was Randy.
And away.
So
we
you
go.
have a prejudice against Randy.
Yes.
Is what I'm hearing.
There are certain nicknames and names where a person named like Brent,
Chad.
Chad, great example.
I watched a movie for
Brinley.
the Time Scale, another new podcast, a Rabbit Hole podcast, where the character was named Downey, and like the character was like the biggest douchebag, and I'm like, that was very spot on, but why the fuck would anyone want to name their kid Downey? And I mean, it was a legitimate first name, like that was the guy's first
Look,
name. It was like
As an
Downey
educator, you
something.
see some names. You go, really?
Hmm. When I worked at the daycare, holy shit.
No, man. But yeah.
Well,
I got
good
nothing.
game.
Yeah, it's fun.
I guess we're done.
Now, what's interesting, I will say, to promote more of her sing around, you should go check it out.
Yes.
rabbitholepodcast.com. Chris nor Isabel, because Carl hosts it, very rarely know who the person is. And it takes them until like the 10th guess.
And they're
now-
like this kind of thing, or
Well, now I may have made it easier.
spoiler alert? I don't listen to podcasts.
I may have made it easier than what Carl normally does.
That's
Because I
because
think
Carl is like crazy pants with his.
because I
trivia.
think like he gives clues like on September 4th, 1987, she walked down Broadway.
nobody knows that. Shit,
Like,
Carl.
you know what I
nobody
mean?
knows that shit, Carl.
And that's like the 7th clue. So, you know, they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? We love you, Carl. I know you're listening. you, Carl.
Carl.
We enjoy Carl. All right, we'll
I
wrap
can't
up.
believe he lives in your walls,
We
Jason.
enjoy Carl. That's a
We-
weird sentence.
Ugh.
I know, right? It sounds dirty.
Wait a second. I'm a lesbian. I don't.
Okay, anyway, we're going to wrap up the show here.
Good
Hey,
idea.
whatever but Jason Soto is hosted by me, Jason Soto, co-hosted by the only two people in the world who can beat Jared Leto Lisa, Sally, Haynes, and Bear. Thank
Beat
you
him
guys.
in what? Just beat him?
Just beat him.
I'll beat him. I'll beat him to death.
So I'm still on Threads, which I think is not even getting popular anymore, but you can still find me there.
Nobody knows.
I'm _famous comedian. I got the very not so rare, but kind of rare invitation to join the new app Blue Sky. So if you are one of 50 people who has Blue Sky,
He got an invite about, I don't know, 3 months after I did.
That's because Lisa's exclusive. I got an invite but didn't even take it.
Bear is better than me.
You can find me there at Famous Comedian on Blue Sky. I'm also at Famous Comedian on Twitter, which I think is dying a slow death because idiot wants to charge people for Twitter. But you can also email the show at jasonsoto@gmail.com and send in your complaints. Go check out our Facebook group. I swear there are real people and not bots. Facebook.com/groups/Rabbit Hole Pod. And Rabbit Hole is on Twitter at RabbitHP. And you should just go to rabbitholepodcast.com. Go check out every show that we do there. A lot of great stuff. But something for everybody, I think. We got movie shows. We got TV shows. Shows about TV shows, I guess I'm trying to say. We got a book club. We just had a book club episode. Very controversial. Hot button.
Well, it's because the book sucked.
People were mad at me. It was interesting.
We have a writing club.
There's a writing club. Yeah, there's a lot going on. RabbitHolePodcast.com. So many things. So many things. You can find this show on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, Google, and anywhere you find awesome high quality podcasts like this. The Mixtape intro song was made by friend of the show, Lackey. Thank you, Lackey.
Yay, Lackey!
The beginning and ending song is Liam Lynch's United States of Whatever from the album Fake Songs. And yes, I know, during the cover show, that was technically Liam Lynch playing it, but there's no covers of United States of Whatever. So the closest thing I could find was Liam Lynch doing the song with the Foo Fighters, and that is what I used. So get off my back, people who emailed me about that. The show is made possible thanks.
About that.
The show is made possible thanks to our Patreon members, Chris R from AfterCredits.com and Her Sing Around podcast. Thank you so much, Chris R.
Yes.
The Vern from Cinema Recall and Tales from the Double R, which will be back in October. They had to take a little bit of a break, but they're going to come back in October.
They're on a break.
The Travel Bound Silent Partner. Thank you so much to Silent Partner. You are awesome.
My favorite.
Come to town so we can get dinner.
The second host of Her Sing Around, Carl. Thank you so much, Carl. Richard Kirkham, the host of the Lambcast. Thank you so much to Richard.
Esteemed gentleman Richard Kirkman.
Has previously mentioned.
Whatever the hell his name is.
Please don't stop giving us money.
No, he's a very laid back guy. He's gonna he'll probably find that funny. He's cool. Has previously mentioned Bear. Thank you, Bear.
Bear! Oh,
my bank account.
that never gets old.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't. I haven't heard it in a while, and they did it one time, and I was like,
they've done it like 3 times in this.
No. Before today.
Oh, okay.
I do it a lot alone because I have a giant bear stuffed animal, so I'll look at him when I go into my bedroom and I go, whoa.
I love that. I love that.
That's awesome. Sherry Coons, thank you so much to Sherry Coons.
Thank you, Sherry.
Very much. The third host of Her Sing Around, Isabel. Thank you so much,
Isabel. At this point, we just employ all of our people who give us money.
I know, right? Like, if you become a Patreon member, I'm going to give you a podcast.
Isabel, who I totally remember who she is.
Yes, Isabel, you're awesome. Brenda, thank you so much.
Thank
you so much, Brenda. And
we're
finally,
reaching the postseason.
Oh, no, not finally.
Good time of year, Brenda.
And also Lackey. Thank you so much to.
Didn't we do Lackey at the beginning?
No.
Oh, no, we did the song. See, because Lackey
Mixtape.
produces everything.
Lackey is the glue of Rabbit Hole Podcast.
Lackey is what holds us all
together. During episodes of whatever, we have acquired 2 new Patreon members.
Woohoo!
So Tim Hodges, thank you so much to Tim for being a Patreon member. You are awesome. Tim. Thank you.
They call
And
me Tim.
Yes. And Toby, thank you so much to Toby
Thank
for
you,
backing us and
Toby.
being a Patreon member.
And for putting up with Jason once a week.
Yeah.
Sorry about that time I broke your figurine, and then Jason broke a figurine.
That sounds dirty. Sorry I
Jason broke the
your
more
figurine,
expensive.
Toby.
Well, Jason broke the more expensive one, so it's okay.
I constantly apologize for that, and I
know,
apologize for you. So
I still feel so bad about that.
all of you listening out there, you want to be a badass like these guys, you can support us by going to patreon.com/rabbitholepods. One single solitary dollar will get you in. Check out some cool shit. Listen to stuff early. You can watch our top 10 favorite cover songs video. A lot of cool stuff going on.
Tiers, or is everybody just $1 getting everything?
There's tiers.
Okay.
Right
There's
now,
tiers.
the cheapest
There are
one
many
is $1.
tiers with this show.
Jesus Christ. All right. Well, with that said, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you all very, very much for listening. Bear, Lisa, thank you guys so much for insulting me constantly. And thank you all very much for listening. Wash your goddamn hands and keep your head in the clouds and your feet in the mud.
Lathers is watching you.
Adios. Copyright 2023 Rabbit Hole Podcasts, rabbitholepodcast.com.